What's a common thing people say that makes no fucking sense? I slept like a baby when they infamously sleep awfully. I do sleep like a baby. I go to bed super early, wake up every few hours to get a drink and need to self-soothe enough to fall back to sleep. I sleep like a politician. I lie on one side then lie on the other. 6 a.m. in the morning, what do you think the AM is for? Don't forget ATM machines. And your PIN number for the ATM machine. I put my PIN number in the ATM machine at 6 a.m. in the morning. I can sleep like a baby knowing I put my PIN number in the ATM machine at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm sweating like a pig. Pigs do not sweat. I much prefer sweating like a whore in church. Sweating like a nun in a cucumber patch. My grandmother once not so quietly proclaimed I'm sweating like a N-word in the South in a crowded auditorium at my HS graduation, so it could be worse. Example, someone goes from nice to mean. They did a 360? No. It's a 180. An old train wreck of a person I used to party with posted that he was making a full 360 in his life and packing up and moving across the country with some guy he just met and married. I commented and was like, oh honey, you mean a 180? 6 months later, he wrecked his car, was arrested on a bunch of drug charges, the guy left him, and he was back to trying to scam people with black market puppies. I went back to my comment and replied, "Ope. Never mind, you did mean 360. Congrats. It was worth the block." Healthy as a horse. Horses are not ever healthy. It's so expensive. They can't even throw up. There is always something wrong. AHHHHH. Why can't horses throw up? They literally are not designed with a gag reflex. They also can't really burp, which is why gas colic is so common and deadly to them. A specific example is a horse that has eaten lawnmower grass clippings. You're not supposed to feed them to horses straight away because the lawnmower heats them up, which starts the fermentation process, then the horses eat it, and the fermentation creates gas. That gets trapped in their gut and causes pain. They roll to try to relieve that pain, which can then twist their gut and intestines, rupturing them and killing them. They also are incredibly good at finding the one and only thing they could ever get injured on it, a pen, and kill themselves on it. It's ridiculous. I used to ride horses as a kid until I was about 18. One thing that stuck with me was something my instructor said. Horses are constantly suicidal and homicidal. I still love them. Just be yourself. After years of that advice, I found out they meant to be confident. Well, hell, I was being confident, but I was being confidently weird. I needed to stop being weird. That was what I was doing wrong. Etta? When I say stop being weird, I mean that I demonstrated no social skills. I would refer to my ex-wife as my ex-wife when telling stories that involved her instead of a friend, and when it was relevant, there was someone else in the story, but not her relationship to me. Tell people all about my family dramas as easily as people talk about the weather, making it sound like my life is nothing but drama, which it isn't. Say I was looking for something serious, making people think that I was one day from proposing. Which no. I'm not Teddy, I don't have the thrills for the pills, and you weirdo. I'm still weird in that I love and am open about collecting cartoons from my childhood and loving to play mod Skyrim. But I've learned the social skills I need to not freak people out with how intense I can get about things. No one wants to work anymore. No one wants to work for a wage that barely covers gas anymore. No one ever wanted to work. That's why it's called work and not leisure. Irregardless. I use disirregardless so that the triple negative makes it make sense again. Undisirregardlessly. Money can't buy happiness. Money can't buy you happiness. But it can buy you a jet ski. Have you ever seen a sad person on a jet ski? Daniel Tosh. I can't think of a single problem in my life that money wouldn't solve right now. Student loans, saving to buy a house, rent, trying for kids, utilities, phone, car, groceries, I mean the list goes on and on. Oh, I thought you were having fun. When I ask what time we are leaving from somewhere, I am. I did not ask you to leave. I am asking what time are we leaving. Jesus Christ, all I want is an idea of how to manage my time. The early bird catches the worm. You know who woke up even earlier than the bird? That worm. But the second mouse gets the cheese. You know who got up even earlier than the second mouse? That cheese. Go big or go home. Every day the only true objective I have is to make it home alive or not be at work. If you work hard, you'll succeed. My brother in Christ, sure, hard work is necessary to success, but it's hardly sufficient. For all intensive purposes, everything happens for a reason. Skibidi. I could care less. Oh really? That's your way of saying you don't care? By saying you actually care a little and could care less? Isn't it I couldn't care less? Life is short. I get the sentiment, but there is quite literally nothing longer that could happen to a person. People referring to a lion being the king of the jungles without realizing lions don't live in jungles. Thor. There's no place like, as good as, home, ignores the fact that a lot of people have homes in Indiana. It's always in the last place you look. Yes, Deborah, I won't be looking for my phone once I've found it. Happy as a clam. The original was happy as a clam at high tide. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There are so many more examples where the opposite is true. Tell that to my sense of smell after 2 bouts of classic COVID.